Today I'm going to talk about Ichi the Killer. It's a Japanese horror film directed by Takashi Miike. He's the same guy that directed the 1999 film Audition. Most people that have seen it will agree that it was an extremely well done movie. So when I heard about Ichi the Killer, I thought it was going to be similar to Audition. But it turns out I was wrong. It was nothing like what I expected it to be. Was it bad? No, but I don't recommend you watch it, because there's something that I really need to address. This is an extremely violent movie, and I'm not even kidding. I mean, this is a sick movie. If you go on Wikipedia, it says that this film was banned in several countries due to its high-impact violence and graphic depictions of cruelty, so there you go. However, it's not the worst I've ever seen. I didn't think it was anywhere near as disturbing as Cannibal Holocaust, but there were certain scenes that shocked me to say the least. The movie is full of torture scenes that you might not be able to handle. If you do decide to watch Ichi the Killer, then remember, this is a sick movie. Before I get into the plot, there's something that I desperately need to get off my chest. On the DVD menu, you have the option for English dubs, and usually when I'm watching a foreign movie, I tend to prefer the English dubs. But for this movie, it's awful. Just listen to it.
You're only a bodyguard, so just shut the fuck up until you're needed. Get it?
Did they get Steve Irwin to perform the dubbing? What's even more strange is that there's this kid in the movie, and as you can see, he must be like 9 or 10 years old. But if you turn on the English dubs, this is what he sounds like.
I was being bullied when this strong guy turned up and kicked their asses.
Are you serious? Let's talk about the plot. I think anybody that watches this movie for the first time will assume that the guy on the front cover is Ichi. I mean, that's what I first thought. The movie's called Ichi the Killer, and there's a creepy looking dude on the front cover, so I would immediately assume that he's Ichi, but he's not. I guess it doesn't really matter, so moving on. At the beginning of the film, a Yakuza gang boss named Anjo disappears along with 300 million yen. This guy happens to be the boss of a very powerful gang, mainly because of his sadomasochistic chief named Kakihara, who everybody's pretty much afraid of. And when I say sadomasochistic, I mean he's part sadist and part masochist. And if you don't know what either of those terms mean, a sadist is someone who gets joy out of inflicting pain on others, and a masochist is someone who gets sexual pleasure from receiving pain. Basically, Kakihara is one messed up dude. His boss Anjo used to feed his sick, twisted desires by torturing him and beating the crap out of him. But now Anjo has disappeared, so they end up searching for him, until this guy named Gigi comes along and feeds Kakihara rumors that the boss had been kidnapped by this guy named Suzuki, who happens to be a member of another gang. So without hesitation, Kakihara finds Suzuki and tortures him. He tries to get answers out of him. Suzuki keeps telling him that he had nothing to do with Anjo's disappearance, but it doesn't seem to really matter to Kakihara. He just seems hell-bent on torturing him regardless. However, it turns out Suzuki was telling the truth. Naturally, Kakihara gets into a big problem with Suzuki's gang. Later on, Kakihara finds out that Anjo was murdered. The whole thing was basically a setup by Gigi, the guy who originally tipped off Kakihara about Suzuki. Gigi's intentions were to pin the two gangs against each other. He's a manipulator, and he's the one that's mostly pulling the strings. Later on, you find out that he was the one who had Anjo murdered. I guess his main goal was to take down the whole Anjo gang. The only way he's capable of doing all of this is with the help of a young man named Ichi. Ichi is often timid, cowardly, and unassuming, but you do not want to piss him off, because every time he's enraged he goes on a killing spree, and he tends to be vicious about it. That is until he'll lay on the floor crying like a baby. It's also implied that Ichi becomes sexually aroused by violence and cruelty, like the idea of a woman getting raped turns him on. Gigi uses him as his personal assassin, and whenever Ichi refuses, Gigi fills his head with lies and tries to turn him against the people he wants dead, like Anjo. The Anjo gang starts to get scared when they realize they're being hunted down by Ichi. However, when Kakihara sees what Ichi's capable of, he becomes fascinated with him. He believes that Ichi is the only one capable of physically overpowering and killing him, which for some reason excites him. And he also believes that Ichi is the only one that could fulfill his masochistic urges. I'm not going to say what goes on from here because I don't want to spoil anything. When I first saw Ichi the Killer, I didn't know what to make of it. I thought it was one of the most bizarre movies I've ever seen. I watched it again about maybe 2 months later and I liked it a lot more. Despite the fact that this is a sick, twisted movie, some parts are pretty hilarious.
What the fuck? Sorry. I'm so sorry. Are you alright? Are you hurt?
Okay, then. Time for Sleuthhound Saburo to step into the ring.
That brings back memories.
Bollocks. Let's go.
As you could probably tell, the acting in this movie is brilliant. For example, check out the acting in this scene.
10 million yen.
No, you idiot. 100 million.
Brilliant. Absolutely groundbreaking. And check out this scene. It should have gotten an award.
My dick. It's hard. Since when? I don't know. Why didn't you tell me? It'll start to rot.
Overall, I think Ichi the Killer was a pretty good movie. It's not as good as Audition, but it's definitely better than One Missed Call. It's not very easy to understand, so I hope this review helped you understand things a bit more, in case you're about to see this movie or if you had already seen it but had trouble understanding it.
Birdie, 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 birdie.